But having this perspective here.
يريد يقول انه ماكو حلول او ماكو وضع لها مشاكل ربما شباك البصره المصريه
فعلا تنقل، بس هي راح تشكل عبء ثقيل على الدوله، على كاهل الدوله وعلى المجتمع بشكل عام. يعني احنا قاعد نفكر هسه، احنا ما نفكر انه تركيا بحاجه للماء وتريد تقيم سدود، تريد تحجز الماء، وانما نفكر نقول هذا تآمر على جنوب العراق وقاعد تقوده تركيا. يعني احنا هذا في تصورنا، نظرتنا السياسيه طبعا، لانه هذا جزء من مشروع تآمري على جنوب العراق.
هسه انت لما
احمد ترجم النص ماله، ترجم النص.
حرف يكون مصدق تهم المسألة.
هو يعتقد انه المشاريع التركيه مو مشاريع اقتصاديه بحته، وانما مشاريع جيوسياسيه. وهو اللي يعتقد احنا، واللي يعتقدوا جنوب الاناضول ايضا.
هو يسأل يقول للاولاد يعني شنو الحل يعني راح يصير يحطون ابنائهم يعني.
هم يناضلون من اجل ان تبقى الاهوار، لانه بدون الاهوار ما نقدر نتنفس، لا هم ولا الابناء يتنفسون. يعني احنا نريد تواصل للجيل الحالي مع وجود الاهوار، الأهوار مو بس بيئه طبيعيه، الاهوار بيئه ثقافيه وبيئه اجتماعيه، يعني هذا تاريخ من 6000 سنه.
They said, the Sheikh said, the culture, we have to keep the marshes because it has a different cultural. And of course, when our sons go to other places, that will make difficult life in there. So we think that Turkey are trying to build a Liso dam for political issue, not just for water. We see it like conspiracy.
I need to addition something. The history of the marsh have a deep history. You can see the Madif now. The Madif is Sumerian style. It is built before 6,000 years ago, from the same materials, from the same styles. And now the culture of the southern of Iraq, it is Sumerian cultures. We did not find it in another area outside the Iraqi marshland. The marsh is not only nature, not only water, it is culture, and it is deep historical. If we lose the water, if there is a high shortage of the water in the future, it means that there is we lost the culture, we lost the historical.
What are the socio-economical impacts? What will happen to the people if the water is not here?
You see, when Saddam regime drained the marsh between 91 and 2003, before 91, the total population of the Chibaishy is 60,000 person. When Al-Ba'ath regime drained the marsh during 91 until 2003, the most of the people migrated to another area, to Iran, to the Sweden, to the United States, to Australia, and to another area that there is a water, there is a canal, there is irrigation canals in Babylon or Fallujah or another area. And only still in Chibaishy 6,000 people from 16. But after 2003, when the water returned back to the marsh again, the person returned back to the marsh, and now the population of Chibaishy is 62,000. 62,000. You see why they return back here? Because they depend on the marshes for the activities of economy. The most of the people can fishing, can use buffalo breeding or like this. And also the sociality of here is very, very stronger. Everyone know everyone in the village. Everyone have a relationship with everyone. And Chibaishy from from a long time ago. It is, I think, 55-90% in Chibaishy from Bani Assad tribe, and this is very important from this village. Also, in another area, there is some trip you can see Abu Muhammad in another marsh, Abu Salih in another marsh. You see, the marsh is very important for the person, not only for the economy activities, but for their life, for the sociality.
You said it went from 60,000 to what number?
To 6,000.
60,000 before 91.
Right. And then
When they drained the marsh, it began only 6,000, and now it is 62,000. They return back. The most of them return back. But I need to tell that you, the 62% not from the same area they return back, but now there is some area of the marsh had drained.
So from other areas.
Like the southern of Hammar, like the southern of Hor al-Hwaza, like the southern of Abu Zaraq. The person come from another area that did not return back again as a marsh.
There have been a number of programs this year from the United Nations, Italian cooperation, the New Eden project,
Yes.
spending a lot of money for this land. What these donors are saying, that all their, let's say, investments and contribution now can be lost by the...
I think without national plan, the another international effect is not very fucked and very strong. We can see in this area there is some maybe some projects from United States or USAID or Aden again or another. هم يقولون العالم ممكن قدم بعض المشاريع السوا. أنا دا أقول لهم بدون مشروع وطني واضح للأهوار العراقية، المساعدات العالمية ما تقدر تقدم شيء للأهوار العراقية. لازم عندنا فد برنامج واضح. You can see now in the Central Marsh. Now when you come from Basra to here, you see in the right there is some concrete structures. This is a part of Aden again project. This is 9 regulator to keep the water in the Central Marsh with the level not less than 1.75 water
level.
Yes, level, sea level. And you can in another area there is some projects. But I think now we haven't a good national plan. We need this national plan, and now there is much sides of Iraq work on the marshland, like the Ministry of Environmental, the Ministry of Water Resources, the Ministry of the Marshes, like this. And there is no a good relation, a good cooperation between these sides, between these ministries.
As usual.
This is one of the problems for the work of the marsh. Until now there is no any national park, and Nature Iraq and Italian side work on the national park plan and national park management report before 3-4 years ago, and until now the Council of Ministries don't approve about this project, and this is very important project.
How do the voices of the Bani Assad enter this dialogue?
This is for the Sheikh Ahmed.
How do they contribute to creating this plan? How do they work with the government and other agencies?
I want to ask him that how they...
What are the means? What are the mechanisms? How do they engage in this conversation with the government?
How do they participate together with the government to make a plan, right? Or
Right.
to make
For
things
Bani Assad.
happen?
Yes, yes.
يقول مدى تأثيركم وتعاونكم أنتم كعشائر مع الحكومة
عشيرة بني أسد.
عشيرة بني أسد كعشيرة بني أسد نحن هذا الموضوع شلون الآلية اللي تشتغلون بها الحكومة؟
أولا هي المسألة ما تعني بني أسد وحدهم، هي تعني كل ما موجود من عشائر بجنوب العراق. فالمشكلة مشكلة عامة بالنسبة للجنوب، وبعدين حتى تأثيرها على الوسط وتأثيرها على كل العراق، لأنه الجنوب مو بالهين، يعني هي لفظة أنه الجنوب عدد هائل من البشر قاعد يعيشون على الأهواء. فإحنا موقفنا إحنا بالحقيقة مع أي شريف وأي رجل يفعل الخير، إحنا ناجدة يعني أنه يرفع أصواتنا للجهات المسؤولة بكل أنحاء العالم.
First of all, marshes is not belong to Bani Asad only. It's belong to all the tribes that live in marshes. And the second thing, the marshes is important to the whole southern of Iraq. It's important. And we are thank every man to try to help us to save these marshes, and everyone from anyone, any country.
They talk to the government and they offer help.
إنه ممثلين بالحكومة، الأهوار، أبناء الأهوار، أبناء الجنوب، أنتم ممثلين بالبرلمان، أنتم ممثلين في مجالس الشعب، أنتم ممثلين، فهم أبناء هذا الهور وأبناء هاي الجنوب، هم حتما قاعد ينقلون معاناة الحكومة على بينة، بس الحكومة ما عندها يعني ما قاعد توصل إلى حل ويا الجهات اللي بنت هاي السدود واللي قاعد تأثر عليها.
موضوع اقليمي قوي.
He said there is in the Iraqi parliament there is sons from marshes, our sons. They are in Iraqi government, and they send our message to the Iraqi government, and they move the picture of marshes to the government, but it's the regional problem, not the internal problem. So
the problem is not the national government, but the regional.
Yes, regional. Yes, between Turkey and Iran and Syria.
عندنا استعداد نشارك في أي مؤتمر يستوجب مشاركتنا دولي.
And we are ready to participate in any international conferences about this problem.
Is there more that the Iraqi parliament could do to promote regional discussion?
يحركون القضية ويسووا أكثر فعلوها.
بالفعل موجودين وقاعد يضغطون عليه من الضغط، عليه من الضغط على إنسان ما عنده حل. الضغط هذا
He said if our representative in the Iraqi parliament, if they push on the government, and the government have no solutions, what can they do?
The problem is the regional problem.
Regional.
The problem in the three countries, Iran, Syria, Turkey. Because the most of the water of Iraq come from the outside the Iraqi borders. You like this? The Central Marsh and Hammar Marsh need not less than 100 cubic meter per second, and sometimes the water of Euphrates rich in Nasriya less than 30 cubic meter per second. What they do? What the Ministry of Water Irrigation do? if there is no any in a quarter for the civil work, for the industrial work, for wishing, for agricultural, what they do.
Jassim, you mentioned a national plan. What should Iraqi's national plan be?
What?
What should the Iraqi government's national plan be?
Yeah. About the you see about the national plan, they put national plan. The CRIM, the Ministry of Water Resources, make a plan for the restoration of the Iraqi marshland, and the area of Iraqi marshland in the Fairfield years is 9,635 kilometer squares, and they put the plan to restoration only 5,600 kilometer square because the shortage of water. But this figure, until now, they did not reach it, 5,600, because there is much shortage of the water in Tigris and Euphrates. You see now, today when you come from the Basra, you see at the right the Central Marsh. Historical, the water of Central Marsh not from Euphrates. The water of the Central Marsh is from Tigris, and the level from the area between Amara and Chibaishy, there is a different 6 meters. And historical, the water come from Tigris and flow in the Central Marsh, and then go to the Euphrates and mix with the Hammar Marsh, with the Euphrates Marsh, and go to Garmat Ali and Shat al-Arab in that time. But now there is much shortage of the water in Tigris, and because this reason we close the Euphrates between Chibaishy and Libdana by soil embankment to raise the level of the Euphrates and to push the water to go from the Euphrates in the Central Marsh. This is another hydraulic system. This is not the natural hydraulic system for the Central Marsh, but what we do if we haven't solved, if there is no good water enough water in the Tigris, you see, it is and also we make a connection between Amodi. It is a main of the drain in Iraq. It is coming from the north of Baghdad to the Gulf, and we study the quality of the water of the Amodi in that time. The salinity before 3 years ago is not more than 3,800 parts per million, and we make a study and we see it is okay. It is good to refloat it the north of the Hammar Marsh with the main fully drain marsh, and the Ministry of Water Resources approve our design and make a canal to connection between the kilometer 140 from the MOD and the north of Hammar in Al-Karmashiyah site. And now the most of the refloated of the Hammar Marsh by drain water, by a high salinity water, because we haven't enough water in the Euphrates to refloat the Hammar Marsh with the water. This is some solution we discuss with the locals to make it, and we make it.
But I think you have to keep insisting that the Iraqi government goes to the Turkish side.
Yes.
And if we have to make delegations, international delegation.
من المهم انه هم العراقي لازم تروح لتركيا، تضغط على تركيا كثيره، لان تركيا ما تعطيك ميه بسهوله، ما تعطيك ميه بسهوله. سوري حسن. كمل. حسن.
الحكومه تضغط على تركيا، واكو قوانين عالميه حصة المياه، المشاطئات يسمونها المتشاطئ، يعني احنا مو من ضمن، ما تشملنا هاي القوانين يعني الا بضغوط. ليش مو اكو قانون هو قاعد من حقنا احنا تعرف تحكي عنه، عرفها نقول يعني اكو قانون. القانون اذا ما طبقته الدوله
متحده تلزم شغلتنا. احنا نريد منهم هم كصحفي كاعلامي كذا، احنا نريد من صوتهم بيان. صوتهم بيان. نريد يضغطون على الدول، على تركيا، على سوريا، على ايران.
What he said there
He
is
said, as you as a journalist or working in the media, we want you to send our message and you push on the UN, United Nations, to